I saw a $3,000 charge for a Gucci bag. Asked my wife, "Did you buy this?" She said, "No. Mom said you gave her the card." Then my mother-in-law added, "You wanted to give me a gift, right?" Look, I've been married for 4 years now, and I thought I had my mother-in-law figured out. She's one of those people who always has something to say about everything. How we arrange our furniture, what we eat for dinner, why we don't have kids yet. But I never thought she'd pull something like this. It started on a Tuesday morning when I was having my coffee and checking my phone. I always glance at my banking app because, let's be honest, money's tight these days. That's when I saw it, a charge for $3,000 that made my coffee go cold in my mouth. Gucci. I don't even know how to pronounce half the stuff they sell there. My first thought was that someone had stolen my card. I mean, who drops $3,000 on a purse? But then I remembered that my card was still in my wallet. I pulled it out, stared at it, then back at my phone. The charge was real. I called my wife at work. She was in the middle of some meeting, but I couldn't wait. "Babe, did you buy a Gucci bag yesterday?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "What? No, why would I? Wait, how much?" $3,000. There was this long pause. Then she said, "Hold on, let me call you back." 20 minutes later, my phone rang. "My mom says you gave her your card to buy herself something nice. She said you told her to treat herself because she's been helping us so much with the house renovations." I nearly dropped the phone. I never gave her my card. I've never even talked to her about buying anything. Another pause. "She's right here. Let me put her on." That's when I heard my mother-in-law's voice, sweet as honey. "Oh, honey, don't you remember? Last week when you said I deserved something special for all my help? You handed me your card and said, 'Go treat yourself.'" I thought the bag was perfect. It matches my new coat. I was speechless. Completely speechless. Because here's the thing. I never said that. I never gave her my card. I don't even like her that much, if I'm being honest. She's always criticizing everything I do, from how I load the dishwasher to how I drive. Why would I give her $3,000 to go shopping? But she was so confident, so sure of herself. For a moment, I actually wondered if I was losing my mind. Had I really said that? Had I handed her my card and just forgotten about it? Then I remembered, I keep my card in my wallet, and my wallet stays in my work bag. She would have had to go through my stuff to get it. "I never gave you my card," I said finally. "You took it from my wallet." "Oh, sweetheart," she said, and I could hear the fake concern in her voice. "You're working so hard lately. Maybe you just forgot. It happens to everyone." My wife got back on the phone. "Maybe you did forget, babe. You have been pretty stressed with the new project at work." That's when it hit me. She was gaslighting me. Both of them were. My own wife was taking her mother's side over mine. I hung up and sat in my kitchen, staring at that charge on my phone. $3,000. That was our emergency fund. That was the money we'd been saving for a down payment on a better place. Gone. For a purse. I called my bank and reported it as fraud, but they said since it was made with my physical card, I'd need to file a police report to get it reversed. The thought of calling the cops on my mother-in-law made my stomach turn. But $3,000 is $3,000. When my wife got home that evening, she had the bag with her. It was in this fancy orange box with ribbons and everything. She set it on our kitchen counter like it was some kind of peace offering. "Look, my mom feels terrible about the misunderstanding," she said. "She wants to return it." "There's no misunderstanding," I said. "She stole my credit card. She didn't steal it. She borrowed it. There's a difference." "Without asking me?" "She thought you said she could." We went round and round like this for an hour. My wife kept defending her mom, saying she would never steal, that there must be some explanation. I kept saying the same thing. I never gave permission for anyone to use my card. Finally, I asked, "Do you believe me or her?" My wife looked at me for a long time. Then she said, "I believe you both think you're telling the truth." That night, I slept on the couch. Not because she kicked me out, but because I couldn't stand lying next to someone who wouldn't take my side. The bag sat on the counter, mocking me with its expensive leather and gold hardware. Update 1. Holy crap, I did not expect this to blow up like it did. Thank you all for the comments and messages. I've been reading everything, and it's helped me realize I'm not going crazy. So here's what happened after my last post. I woke up the next morning, and the bag was gone. I asked my wife where it was, and she said her mom took it back to return it. I thought, okay, maybe we can move past this. But then Thursday came, and guess what showed up on my credit card statement? Another charge. This time for $800 at some fancy jewelry store. I about lost my mind. I called my wife immediately. She did it again. What are you talking about? Your mom. She charged another $800 to my card. Silence. She's returning the bag today, my wife said finally. Maybe it's a mistake. It's not a mistake. She's doing this on purpose. I left work early that day and drove to my mother-in-law's house. She lives about 20 minutes away in this nice suburban neighborhood where all the houses look the same. I knocked on her door, and when she answered, she was wearing new diamond earrings. Oh, hi, sweetie, she said, like nothing had happened. What brings you by? The earrings, I said. Did you buy those with my credit card? She touched them, smiling. Aren't they beautiful? I saw them when I was returning the bag and thought they'd look perfect with my new necklace. What new necklace? That's when she showed me. A gold chain with a pendant that probably cost more than my car payment. I got it last week. You remember, when you said I should treat myself. I felt like I was in some kind of twisted dream. I never said that. I never gave you permission to use my card. Oh, honey, she said, and her voice got all concerned again. You really don't remember, do you? Maybe you should see someone about your memory. It's not normal for someone your age to forget things like this. She invited me in for coffee, acting like everything was normal. Her living room looked like a department store had exploded in it. New throw pillows, a fancy vase, some kind of art piece that probably cost more than I make in a month. Did you buy all this with my card too? I asked. Just a few little things, she said. You're so generous. Your wife is lucky to have such a thoughtful husband. I pulled out my phone and called my wife right there in front of her mom. She's got a whole room full of stuff she bought with my card, I said when she answered. You're at my mom's house? Come over here. Right now. You need to see this. 20 minutes later, my wife walked in, and I watched her face as she saw all the new stuff. Her mom started explaining each item, how she needed new pillows because the old ones were getting flat, how the vase was perfect for the flowers I apparently told her to buy for herself, how the art piece reminded her of her late husband. Mom, my wife said quietly, how much did all this cost? Oh, not much. Your husband is so generous. He said money was no object when it comes to family. I exploded. I never said that. I never said any of this. You're making it all up. That's when my mother-in-law started crying. Real tears, not fake ones. I don't understand why you're being so mean to me, she sobbed. I thought we were family. I thought you cared about me. My wife immediately went to comfort her mom, and I just stood there watching them hug while surrounded by thousands of dollars worth of stuff bought with my money. Maybe we should go, my wife said to me over her mom's shoulder. Not without my credit card, I said. What credit card? My mother-in-law asked, looking up from her daughter's embrace. The one you took from my wallet. I don't have your credit card, sweetie. I gave it back to you after I bought the bag. I knew she was lying, but I couldn't prove it. She probably hid it somewhere in the house. The drive home was silent. When we got there, my wife finally spoke. Maybe she's getting confused, she said. She's been under a lot of stress since Dad died. Her husband died 3 years ago, I said. And she's not confused. She's manipulating you. She's my mom, and I'm your husband. We went to bed angry that night. I canceled my credit card first thing the next morning. Update 2. You guys, this whole thing has gotten so much worse. I never thought I'd be posting another update, but here we are. After I canceled my credit card, I thought that would be the end of it. No more charges, no more drama. I was wrong. My mother-in-law called my wife Friday evening, crying hysterically. Apparently, she tried to use my card to buy groceries and it was declined. She said she was embarrassed in front of everyone at the store and didn't understand why I would cancel the card without telling her. My wife came to me, upset. Why didn't you tell her you were canceling the card? Because it's my card, I said. I don't need to tell anyone when I cancel my own credit card. But she needed groceries. Then she can use her own money. That's when my wife dropped the bomb. She doesn't have any money. Turns out, my mother-in-law had been spending her Social Security checks on all kinds of stuff, not just what she bought with my card. She'd been living beyond her means for months, thinking she had unlimited access to our money. This is not our problem, I said. She's family, my wife said. She's a thief. We had our biggest fight ever that night. My wife accused me of being heartless and selfish. I accused her of enabling her mother's behavior. We both said things we probably shouldn't have said. Saturday morning, I woke up to find my wife packing a suitcase. Where are you going? I asked. To my mom's. She needs help, and apparently you don't care. For how long? I don't know. That was a week ago. My wife has been staying at her mother's house, helping her figure out her finances. I've been alone in our apartment, eating takeout and wondering how my marriage got to this point. Yesterday, I got a call from my wife. She said her mom wanted to apologize and return everything she bought with my card. She asked if I would come over so we could all talk. I didn't want to go, but I missed my wife. I missed our life together. So I drove over there Tuesday evening. My mother-in-law had laid everything out on her dining room table. The jewelry, the home decor, even some clothes I hadn't seen before. It looked like a garage sale. "I'm sorry," she said, and for the first time, she actually looked sorry. I got carried away. "I know I should have asked permission. You should have never taken my card in the first place," I said. "I know. I've been so lonely since your father-in-law died. Shopping made me feel better. I thought if I told myself you said it was okay, then it would be okay." My wife was crying. I was trying not to cry. It was a mess. "I'll return everything," my mother-in-law continued. "Most of it's still in the original packaging. And I'll pay you back for whatever I can't return." "With what money?" I asked. "I'll get a job. I'll figure it out." We talked for 2 hours. Really talked. She admitted she'd been struggling with loneliness and depression since her husband died. She said shopping felt like the only thing that made her happy, even though she knew it was wrong. I told her I understood grief, but that didn't give her the right to steal from us. She agreed. She apologized again, and this time it felt genuine. "I want to make this right," she said. "What can I do?" I thought about it for a long time. Then I said, "First, you return everything you can return. Second, you get help managing your money. Third, you never, ever take something that doesn't belong to you again." She nodded. "And fourth, you admit to my wife that you lied, that you knew you didn't have permission to use my card." My mother-in-law looked at my wife, then back at me. "I lied," she said quietly. "I knew you didn't give me permission. I took the card from your wallet when you were in the bathroom during dinner last week." "I'm sorry." My wife looked shocked. "Mom, why didn't you just ask us for help?" "Because I was embarrassed. Because I didn't want you to know how bad things had gotten." Final update. It's been 2 months since everything went down, and I figured I owed you all a final update. My mother-in-law returned about $4,000 worth of stuff. Some items couldn't be returned because she'd removed tags or used them, but she's been paying me back $200 a month from her Social Security check. At this rate, it'll take a while, but I can live with that. The bigger change is in my relationship with my wife. It took some time for her to fully understand how betrayed I felt, not just by her mom, but by her taking her mom's side. We had some really hard conversations about trust and loyalty and what it means to be married. She apologized for not believing me from the start. She said she was so used to her mom's stories and exaggerations that she didn't realize how serious this was. She also admitted she was scared of losing her mom, especially after losing her dad, so she was willing to overlook things she shouldn't have overlooked. As for my mother-in-law, she's actually been going to a grief support group at her church. It wasn't my idea. She found it herself. She says it's helping her deal with the loneliness in healthier ways. She also got a part-time job at a flower shop, which gives her something to do and a little extra income. Our relationship is still weird, but it's better. She doesn't come over unannounced anymore, and she always asks before borrowing anything, even something as simple as a cup of sugar. Last week, she brought us homemade cookies and actually paid me an extra $50 toward what she owes. My wife moved back home after about 2 weeks. We're doing better now, but it's been work. We had to have some serious conversations about boundaries and what happens when family oversteps. We've agreed that from now on, we present a united front, even when it's hard. The credit card fraud was eventually resolved. The bank initially said I was responsible since it was my physical card, but after I provided evidence of the timeline and the fact that I'd reported it immediately, they reversed most of the charges. I still had to eat about $800, but that's better than the full amount. Looking back, I think this whole situation was a wake-up call for all of us. My mother-in-law learned she can't solve her problems by spending money she doesn't have. My wife learned that being loyal to family doesn't mean ignoring when they do wrong things. And I learned that sometimes you have to fight for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. We're not perfect, but we're working on it. My mother-in-law is coming over for dinner this weekend, and she's bringing the ingredients and cooking for us. It's a small thing, but it feels like progress. To everyone who told me to call the police or go no contact, I get it. Those were valid options. But sometimes the messier path of working through problems is worth it, especially when everyone involved is willing to change. Thanks for listening, Reddit. This community helped me realize I wasn't crazy, and that meant everything during the worst of it.